The sound of a phone hitting the receiver echoed through the empty apartment as Maya Porter slumped against the wall, her hand trembling. Another rejection, another dead end. The unpaid medical bills scattered across her kitchen table seemed to mock her with their bold red final notice stamps. Her father didn't have much time left, neither for his life nor before the hospital would stop his treatment. Across town, in a sleek penthouse office, William Blackwood stared impassively at his latest test results. Terminal, 12 months at best. He set the papers down and gazed at the sprawling skyline bearing his family name on half a dozen buildings. Everything he'd built would go to his ruthless brother Ethan if he didn't find a solution. Fast. Maya Porter was brilliant, a medical researcher with publications in prestigious journals and revolutionary theories that could change treatment approaches for rare genetic diseases. But brilliance didn't pay the bills, especially not the kind that came with her father's extensive cancer treatments. She was drowning in debt with no lifeline in sight. William Blackwood had everything money could buy, except time. The 35-year-old tech CEO had built an empire that surpassed even his grandfather's wildest dreams. But the old man's will had one unbreakable condition. Only a Blackwood with a legitimate heir could inherit controlling interest in the company. Without that, everything would pass to William's brother Ethan, a man whose ruthless business tactics threatened to destroy everything William had worked for. Two desperate people, two impossible situations, one unusual solution that would change their lives forever. When William's sleek black car pulled up outside Maya's modest apartment building that rainy Tuesday evening, neither of them could have imagined how their business arrangement would unravel, reshape, and ultimately redeem them both. This is the story of a contract that promised money and legitimacy but delivered something neither of them had bargained for. Maya checked her appearance one last time in the cracked bathroom mirror. Her simple navy dress was the most professional thing she owned, and she'd pulled her dark hair back into a neat bun. Whatever this mysterious job offer was, she couldn't afford to look desperate, even if she was. The doorman at Blackwood Tower eyed her suspiciously as she requested access to the executive floor. She didn't belong here, among the polished marble and gleaming gold fixtures, but the email had been clear. William Blackwood wanted to meet her personally. Miss Porter. William didn't rise from behind his massive desk when his assistant showed her in. His voice was as cold as his steel blue eyes. Please sit. Maya perched on the edge of the chair, her resume clutched in her hands. Thank you for meeting with me, Mr. Blackwood. I'm not sure what position you're considering me for, but this isn't about a job, Miss Porter. William slid a folder across the desk. It's about a contract. Inside the folder was a proposal unlike anything Maya could have imagined. A marriage contract. 1 year of pretending to be William Blackwood's wife in exchange for $5 million. This is a joke, Maya whispered, closing the folder. I don't joke about business, William replied, his expression unchanged. You need money. I need a wife to satisfy my grandfather's archaic will conditions. The marriage would be in name only, with clear termination after 1 year. Why me? Maya asked, her mind racing. You're intelligent, educated, presentable, and most importantly, desperate enough to consider this arrangement. William's bluntness was almost refreshing. Your father's medical bills exceed $400,000, and the experimental treatment he needs isn't covered by insurance. Maya's hands trembled. You've investigated me, thoroughly. William nodded. I know about your research work, your academic achievements, your financial situation. I don't enter into contracts blindly, Miss Porter. The silence between them stretched until Maya found her voice. And what would be expected of me during this arrangement? Public appearances, attending corporate functions, living at my residence, though in separate quarters. You would sign extensive non-disclosure agreements and never reveal the nature of our arrangement to anyone. He tapped the folder. The full terms are outlined here. You'll have 3 days to decide. Maya stood, clutching the folder. I'll need to think about this. Of course. William's tone suggested he already knew what her answer would be. My assistant will show you out. That night, Maya sat beside her father's hospital bed, watching his labored breathing. Thomas Porter had once been robust and full of life. Now cancer had reduced him to a shadow, his once strong hands thin and spotted with bruises from IV needles. Who was your meeting with, sweetheart? He asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Maya forced a smile. Just a potential opportunity, Dad. Nothing to worry about. You look troubled. Even in his weakened state, he could read her like a book. I'm just tired. She squeezed his hand. The doctor says there's a new treatment that might help. But it's expensive, he finished. Maya, you've done enough. I've had a good life. Don't talk like that. Maya's voice cracked. You're going to get better. I'll figure something out. Later that night, Maya spread the contract across her kitchen table, reading every clause, every condition. $5 million. Enough to save her father, pay off her student loans, and still have a cushion for the future. All for 1 year of her life. The following morning, Maya's phone rang as she was leaving the hospital. Miss Porter, Have you made your decision? William's voice was crisp, businesslike. Maya watched a young family walk into the hospital, the parents supporting their sick child between them, their faces etched with the same worry she felt every day. I have conditions of my own, she said firmly. I want half the money up front, to pay for my father's treatment immediately. The rest can come after the year is complete. There was a pause. Acceptable. Anything else? I continue my research work. I won't put my career on hold. As long as you fulfill your obligations as my wife in public, your private time is your own. Maya took a deep breath. Then we have a deal, Mr. Blackwood. Excellent. The papers will be ready for signing tomorrow. And Miss Porter? Yes? From tomorrow, you should practice calling me William. No one will believe we're married if you address me so formally. 3 days later, Maya stood in a sterile courthouse room, exchanging vows with a man she barely knew. There were no flowers, no music, no family or friends, just a judge, 2 witnesses from William's legal team, and cold, efficient words that bound them legally together. William slid a simple platinum band onto her finger. It felt foreign, heavy with the weight of their arrangement rather than any emotional significance. He didn't kiss her when the judge pronounced them husband and wife, merely nodded once, as if concluding a business meeting. The car will take you to collect your things, he said as they exited the courthouse. Rebecca will help you settle in. I have meetings for the remainder of the day. Rebecca, William's personal assistant, made no effort to hide her distaste as she showed Maya around the Blackwood mansion later that afternoon. Your suite is in the East Wing, she said, leading Maya through corridors lined with priceless art. Mr. Blackwood occupies the West Wing. You won't be disturbed there. The suite was larger than Maya's entire apartment, with a bedroom, sitting area, private bathroom, and even a small study where she could continue her research. Dinner is at 7, Rebecca continued. Mr. Blackwood often dines alone in his study, but you're expected to be available for any social engagements with minimal notice. Your new wardrobe is in the closet, appropriate attire for a Blackwood wife. Maya opened the closet to find designer clothes, shoes, and accessories, all in her size. I didn't agree to a makeover. You agreed to be convincing, Rebecca countered. No one would believe William Blackwood's wife shops at department stores. That night, Maya dined alone in the massive formal dining room, feeling like an intruder in a museum. The butler served course after course with silent efficiency, while she sat at one end of a table that could seat 20. Later, unable to sleep in the too soft, too large bed, Maya wandered the halls of her new prison. $5 million, she reminded herself. 1 year. She could endure anything for 1 year. Her wandering led her to a library, where she was surprised to find William still awake, reviewing documents at a desk. I'm sorry, she said, backing toward the door. I didn't mean to intrude. William glanced up. It's your home now, technically, though I thought you'd be asleep. It's different from what I'm used to. She gestured vaguely. The quiet. For a moment, something almost human flickered across William's face. It takes adjustment. I grew up in this house, and sometimes it still feels too quiet. Maya took a tentative step into the room. Were you close to your grandfather, the one whose will created this situation? William's expression closed again. He raised me after my parents died. He was a complicated man. And your brother, Ethan, is not a topic for discussion. William returned to his documents. We have our first public appearance tomorrow evening, a charity gala for the Children's Hospital. The car will pick you up at 7. Maya recognized a dismissal when she heard one. Good night then, William. His name felt strange on her lips, intimate in a way their courthouse wedding hadn't been. Good night, Maya. It was the first time he'd used her first name too. The following evening, Maya stared at her reflection in a midnight blue gown that probably cost more than 6 months' rent at her old apartment. Her hair had been styled by a professional sent to the house, and the diamond necklace around her throat caught the light with every breath. You clean up well, William commented when she descended the stairs. He wore a perfectly tailored tuxedo that emphasized his tall, lean physique. Thank you, Maya replied, feeling oddly shy. Is that the sort of thing a real husband would say? A ghost of a smile touched William's lips. Perhaps not. Let's try again. He took her hand, bringing it to his lips in a gesture that seemed practiced but still sent an unexpected shiver through her. You look beautiful tonight, darling. Maya swallowed. Much better. Very convincing. In the car, William briefed her on who they would meet at the gala, reminding her of details about their courtship that they'd fabricated for public consumption. We met at a medical conference, Maya recited. You were impressed by my research presentation. We dated quietly for 6 months before a whirlwind engagement. And we married quickly because? William prompted. Because life is short, and we didn't want to wait. The irony of the statement wasn't lost on either of them, given William's diagnosis. As cameras flashed outside the gala entrance, William placed his hand on the small of Maya's back, guiding her with a possessiveness that was entirely for show but felt strangely protective. William, congratulations on your marriage. A silver-haired man approached with a champagne flute raised in toast. So secretive, you barely gave the gossip columnists anything to work with. Some things are too precious to share with the press, Senator, William replied smoothly, pulling Maya closer. Maya, this is Senator James Wilcox, an old family friend. Senator, my wife, Dr. Maya Porter Blackwood. A doctor? Impressive. The senator's eyes assessed Maya with undisguised curiosity. And what field are you in, my dear? Medical research? Maya answered, finding her professional voice. Specifically, genetic disorders and experimental treatments. How fascinating. The senator's wife joined in. And how did you two meet? William has always been so focused on work. Maya felt William's hand tighten slightly at her waist, a silent signal to take the lead. She smiled, reciting their rehearsed story with enough genuine warmth to be convincing. By the end of the evening, she'd repeated it so many times it almost felt true. As they moved through the crowded ballroom, Maya observed William in his element. Cold and distant as he was in private, in public he transformed into a charismatic, commanding presence. People gravitated toward him, seeking his attention, his approval, his investment in their causes. Does your head hurt from smiling so much? Maya whispered during a brief moment alone. William's eyes crinkled slightly. A necessary business skill. You're doing well, by the way. The senator's wife is already half in love with our romance. It helps that half of it is true. I am a researcher, after all. Yes, your credentials were one reason you were suitable for. William stopped mid-sentence, his face suddenly pale. William? Maya touched his arm instinctively. Are you all right? Fine, he said tersely, but Maya noticed a fine sheen of sweat on his forehead. You're not fine, she insisted, steering him toward a quiet alcove. When did you last take your medication? Surprise flickered across his face. How do you? I read medical journals for fun, and I've been researching your particular condition since our arrangement began. Maya kept her voice low. The tremor in your left hand and the periodic pallor are classic symptoms of, this is not the time or place. William cut her off sharply. If you won't take care of yourself properly, our contract might end earlier than planned, Maya retorted, which rather defeats the purpose, doesn't it? For a moment, genuine emotion, anger perhaps, or surprise at being challenged, animated William's features. Then his mask slipped back into place. We're leaving, he announced, taking her elbow and guiding her toward the exit. In the car, the silence was tense until William finally spoke. My condition is not your concern. It is if it affects our arrangement, Maya countered. Besides, I'm a medical researcher. Helping people with conditions like yours is literally my life's work. I have the best doctors money can buy, and yet you're ignoring their advice about medication schedules, aren't you? When he didn't respond, Maya sighed. Look, I'm not trying to overstep, but we're in this together for the next year. I'd rather not become a widow before the contract ends. To her surprise, William laughed, a short, genuine sound that transformed his face. That would be inconvenient, wouldn't it? Extremely, Maya agreed, smiling despite herself. And I'd have to wear black, which isn't my color. Another silence fell, but this one felt different, less hostile, more contemplative. The treatment options are limited, William finally said, staring out the window. And the side effects are unpleasant. Maya recognized the admission for what it was, a small crack in his armor. Have you looked into the experimental protocols at Mercer Institute? Dr. Prowl, Huang is doing groundbreaking work on genetic therapies that might. I'm familiar with Huang's research, William interrupted. It's promising, but years away from practical application. Not necessarily. Maya leaned forward, professional excitement overriding her awareness that this wasn't really her place. I attended a symposium last month where she presented results from her latest trial. The delivery mechanism has been significantly improved. William studied her with new interest. You follow experimental genetic treatments closely for someone whose specialty isn't listed as genetics. It's a personal interest, Maya hedged, not wanting to reveal too much about her father's condition. The point is, there might be options you haven't fully explored. Perhaps. William's tone was non-committal, but something had shifted. I'll have my medical team review the latest research. As the car pulled into the mansion's circular drive, William turned to her. You played your role well tonight. The foundation director was particularly impressed. It wasn't quite a thank you, but from William Blackwood, Maya suspected it was the closest thing to one. 3 weeks into their arrangement, Maya had settled into a routine. Mornings were spent at the hospital with her father, whose condition had stabilized somewhat thanks to the treatments Maya could now afford. Afternoons were devoted to her research, which she conducted from her suite or occasionally at the university lab. Evenings often involved some social function where she performed her role as Mrs. Blackwood with increasing confidence. William remained an enigma, polite but distant, rarely sharing meals or conversation unless required for appearances. Maya sometimes went days without seeing him at all, which suited her fine. This was a business arrangement, not a real marriage. until the night she couldn't sleep again and found herself wandering to the library. This time, instead of working at his desk, William was sitting in a leather armchair, a book open but seemingly forgotten in his lap. He stared into the fireplace, lost in thought, and didn't notice Maya until she was almost beside him. "Sorry," she said, starting to retreat. "I didn't mean to interrupt." "You're not." William closed the book. "I wasn't really reading anyway." Maya noticed the slight tremor in his hand as he set the book aside. "Bad night?" "Had better," he admitted with unusual candor. He gestured to the chair opposite his. "Since you're here, I've been meaning to ask how your father is responding to the new treatment." Surprised by his interest, Maya sat down. "Better than expected. His doctors are cautiously optimistic." "Good," William nodded. "And your research?" "Rebecca mentioned you've been spending more time at the university lab. We've had some promising results with a new delivery mechanism for targeted gene therapy," Maya explained, then caught herself. "Sorry, I doubt you want the technical details." "On the contrary," William leaned forward slightly. "My condition is genetic, as you've deduced. Your field of study is relevant to my interests." Maya studied him. "Is that why you chose me? Not just because I needed money, but because of my research background?" "It was a factor," William admitted, though not the primary one. A log shifted in the fireplace, sending up a shower of sparks. In the flickering light, Maya noticed how tired William looked, the shadows under his eyes, the strain around his mouth. "The pain is worse at night, isn't it?" she asked gently. William's eyes met hers, surprising in their vulnerability. "Yes." "Have you tried meditation techniques? There are specific approaches that can help manage chronic pain without additional medication." "I've tried everything from ancient Eastern practices to cutting-edge Western drugs," William sighed. "Nothing works for long." "May I?" Maya reached for his hand, the one with the tremor. After a moment's hesitation, William extended it. Her fingers were cool against his skin as she gently turned his hand palm up, applying pressure to specific points. "This isn't mystical mumbo-jumbo," she said, noting his skeptical expression. "It's based on nerve pathways and blood flow. My father's pain management specialist showed me." Under her careful touch, the tremor gradually subsided. William watched her, his expression unreadable. "Better?" she asked, suddenly aware of how intimate the moment felt. "Yes," he said quietly. "Thank you." She released his hand and stood. "I should get some sleep. I have early lab hours tomorrow." "Maya," William called as she reached the door. "Your father is lucky to have you." It was the first personal compliment he'd given her that wasn't for public consumption. The next morning, Maya found a file folder outside her suite door. Inside were detailed medical reports on William's condition, comprehensive genetic analyses, treatment histories, progression charts. A note in his precise handwriting read simply, "Your professional opinion would be valued." Maya spent the day reviewing the files between her other work. William's condition was a rare genetic disorder that caused progressive neurological damage, painful and ultimately fatal, with most patients succumbing within 3-5 years of symptom onset. William had already passed the 2-year mark. That evening, she knocked on the door of his study. "Come," his voice called. Maya entered with the file and her own notes. "I've reviewed everything." William gestured to a chair. And I think your doctors are being too conservative," Maya said bluntly. "There are 3 experimental protocols that could be viable options, and you haven't tried any of them." William's eyebrows rose slightly at her directness. "They all carry significant risks." "So does doing nothing," Maya countered, spreading her notes on his desk. "This one in particular, Dr. Huang's protocol, shows promising results in cases similar to yours. The success rate is barely 30%, which is 30% better than what you're doing now," Maya said firmly. "Look, I understand being cautious, but from these reports, you've been managing symptoms rather than pursuing anything that might actually slow progression." William studied her with new interest. "Most people tiptoe around me when discussing my condition." "I'm not most people," Maya replied, "and this isn't just professional interest. If you..." She hesitated, then continued more softly. "If something happened to you before our contract ends, my father's ongoing treatment wouldn't be guaranteed." A smile ghosted across William's lips. "Practical as always. It's how I've survived," Maya admitted. William leaned back in his chair, regarding her thoughtfully. "I'll consider Dr. Huang's protocol, on one condition, which is, you consult directly with my medical team. Your insight seems valuable." It was as close to admitting he needed help as William Blackwood would probably ever come. Maya nodded. "I can do that." Over the following weeks, a new pattern emerged. Maya began attending William's medical consultations, offering her perspective on treatment options and research developments. William, in turn, showed genuine interest in her research, sometimes asking questions that revealed a surprisingly sophisticated understanding of genetics. Their evenings in the library became routine, sometimes discussing medical matters, sometimes sharing comfortable silence as they read or worked. Maya found herself looking forward to these quiet hours when William shed some of his corporate armor and showed glimpses of the man beneath. "Why did you choose business over medicine?" Maya asked one evening. "Your understanding of genetics is impressive for a layman." William's expression turned distant. "My grandfather expected it. The Blackwood heir runs Blackwood Enterprises. That was non-negotiable. But you studied biology in undergraduate, according to your medical history, for 2 years before switching to business and finance." William swirled the whiskey in his glass. "My grandfather made it clear that pursuing medicine would mean losing my position in the company. And now you're dying of a genetic condition," Maya observed quietly. "There's a bitter irony there." "Indeed." William's smile was sharp. "Though who knows? If I'd become a doctor, perhaps I'd have ended up like you, brilliant but perpetually underfunded." Maya laughed. "True enough, though I'd take purposeful work over wealth most days." "Says the woman who married for money," William pointed out, though his tone held no judgment. "Touché." Maya raised her teacup in acknowledgement. "Though technically, I married for my father's life, not for money itself." William studied her. "You love him very much." "He's all I have," Maya said simply. "After my mother died, he raised me alone, worked 2 jobs to put me through school, never complained. When I got my first research grant, he was prouder than if he'd won the Nobel Prize himself. He sounds like a good man." "The best," Maya agreed. "What about your parents? You never mentioned them." William's face closed slightly. "They died when I was 7. Car accident." "I'm sorry," Maya said softly. "So your grandfather raised you and Ethan?" "Yes, though he had very different expectations for each of us." William set his glass down. "Ethan was allowed freedom I never had, the younger son's privilege. And now he wants your company." "He wants everything," William corrected. "Always has. The difference is, now he might get it unless our arrangement produces the required heir." Maya shifted uncomfortably, reminded of the cold terms of their contract. "Right. Well, with the new treatment protocol, your prognosis might improve significantly. You might outlive the contract and have time to find a more permanent solution." William's eyes held hers for a long moment. "Perhaps." He stood abruptly. "It's late. You should rest." The dismissal stung in a way it wouldn't have weeks earlier. Maya rose, gathering her notes. "Good night then." "Maya," William called as she reached the door. "Thank you for your help with the medical team. It's appreciated." She nodded once and left, unsettled by the warmth that his gratitude sparked in her. The annual Blackwood Foundation Gala arrived 6 weeks into their marriage. It was the most significant social event of their calendar. Hundreds of guests, extensive press coverage, and William's first major public appearance since their wedding. Maya stood before her mirror in a crimson gown that made her feel like a different person, elegant, confident, worthy of standing beside one of the most powerful men in the city. Rebecca had arranged for her hair to be swept up in an intricate style, accentuated by ruby and diamond earrings that matched her wedding ring, the simple band now accompanied by a stunning stone that William had presented to her that morning. "For appearances," he'd said, sliding the box across the breakfast table, "the press would expect something substantial." The weight of the ring matched the weight of expectation she felt. Tonight, more than any previous event, they needed to be convincing as a loving couple. William waited at the foot of the grand staircase, his black tuxedo impeccable. When he saw her, something flickered in his eyes. Surprise, perhaps, or appreciation. "You look," he began, then seemed to search for adequate words. "The dress suits you." "Very convincing, darling," Maya teased, falling into their public persona with practiced ease. "The press will definitely believe you're madly in love with that enthusiasm." To her surprise, William laughed, a genuine sound that transformed his face. "Fair point. Let me try again." He took her hand, drawing her close. "You are breathtaking tonight, Maya. Every man at the gala will envy me." His voice carried a warmth that seemed to transcend their practiced roles, making Maya's heart beat faster. "Better," she managed. "Much more convincing." The gala was held in the Blackwood Enterprises headquarters, its soaring atrium transformed into a glittering wonderland of lights and flowers. As hosts, Maya and William stood receiving guests for the first hour, her hand tucked into the crook of his arm. "Mrs. Blackwood, you've accomplished the impossible," one elderly board member commented with a wink. William actually smiles now. "She's good for him," his wife agreed. "We were all beginning to think he was married to this company." William's hand covered Maya's on his arm, his thumb brushing over her knuckles in a gesture that felt protective. "I simply needed the right partner," he said, his eyes meeting Maya's with unexpected warmth. As the evening progressed, they moved through the crowd together, greeting donors and accepting congratulations on their marriage. William kept her close, his hand often at the small of her back or holding hers, as if he couldn't bear to break contact. "Is everything all right?" Maya whispered during a brief moment alone. "You seem different tonight." "Just playing my part," William replied, but something in his expression suggested otherwise. Dinner was served at round tables beneath a ceiling transformed into a night sky with thousands of tiny lights. At the head table, William rose to deliver his speech, thanking donors and outlining the foundation's achievements and goals. "This year has brought unexpected change to my life," he said toward the end, his gaze finding Maya. "Changes that have helped me see beyond business to what truly matters. My wife," his voice softened on the word, "has reminded me that our greatest legacy isn't in buildings or balance sheets, but in the lives we touch and the good we leave behind." The crowd applauded warmly as William sat down. Under the table, Maya felt his hand seek hers. "That wasn't in the speech Rebecca prepared," she whispered. "No," he agreed. "It wasn't." After dinner came dancing. William led Maya onto the floor for the first waltz, one hand at her waist, the other clasping hers with surprising gentleness. "I didn't know you could dance," Maya said as he guided her effortlessly through the steps. "Blackwood heirs learned ballroom dancing by age 12, William replied. "Grandfather's orders." "What else did grandfather order?" Maya asked, genuinely curious about the upbringing that had shaped him. A shadow crossed William's face. "Everything from which schools we attended to, how we spent our summers," Ethan rebelled. I complied. "And now you're the CEO and he's not," Maya observed. "And now I'm dying and he's not," William countered, his voice low. So perhaps rebellion was the wiser choice. The music swelled around them, and William pulled her closer, his cheek nearly touching her temple. "You smell like jasmine," he murmured. The words meant only for her. Maya felt a shiver run down her spine. "It's the perfume Rebecca chose. Is it too much?" "It's perfect," William said softly. "You're perfect." The intimacy of the moment made Maya's heart race. This was beyond playing a part. There was no audience close enough to hear these words. "William," she began, uncertain what she even wanted to say. Whatever spell had fallen over them was broken by a sharp voice nearby. "Brother dear, aren't you going to introduce me to your bride?" William stiffened, his expression cooling instantly as he turned. "Ethan, I wasn't aware you were attending." Ethan Blackwood shared his brother's height and dark hair, but where William was all controlled power, Ethan exuded a lazy charm that didn't quite reach his calculating eyes. "And missed the chance to meet the woman who accomplished what half the socialites in the city couldn't." Ethan's gaze swept over Maya appreciatively. "I understand now. She's exquisite." "Maya, my brother Ethan," William said formally. "Ethan, my wife, Dr. Maya Porter, Blackwood." "Doctor?" Ethan raised an eyebrow, taking Maya's hand and bringing it to his lips in a gesture that lingered too long. "Beauty and brains." William always did want the complete package. Maya withdrew her hand, disliking him instantly. "It's nice to meet you, Ethan. William has told me so much about you." "All terrible, I'm sure," Ethan laughed. "Don't believe half of it. My brother has always seen the worst in me." "Perhaps because you've always shown it," William replied coolly. "If you'll excuse us, we should greet the mayor." Ethan's smile didn't slip. "Of course. Don't let me keep you from your duties. We'll have plenty of time to get acquainted, Maya. I'm family, after all." As they walked away, Maya felt William's tension. "I take it you and your brother aren't close." "Ethan and I have fundamentally different values," William said tightly. "He sees people as tools to be used and discarded. And you don't?" The question slipped out before Maya could stop it, weighted with the reality of their own arrangement. William stopped, turning to face her. "Is that what you think? That I see you as a tool?" Maya met his gaze squarely. "Isn't that the basis of our contract? I'm useful to you." Something almost like hurt flickered in William's eyes. "It began that way," he admitted, "but things change." Before Maya could ask what he meant, Rebecca appeared at William's elbow. "Mr. Blackwood, the senator needs a word about the new research grant." William nodded, his public mask sliding back into place. "Duty calls," he said to Maya. "Will you be all right for a few minutes?" "Of course," Maya assured him. "I'll get some air on the terrace." The night air was cool after the warmth of the ballroom. Maya leaned against the stone balustrade, trying to make sense of her confusing emotions. This was a business arrangement. She couldn't afford to forget that, no matter how attentive William was being tonight. "Escaping already?" Ethan's voice came from behind her. "The dutiful wife act must be exhausting." Maya turned, keeping her expression neutral. "Just getting some fresh air. Your brother is an excellent host. He hardly needs my help." Ethan moved closer, too close for comfort. "My brother is many things, but excellent host isn't on the list. Cold, calculating, ruthless. Those fit better." "You don't know him very well," Maya said, stepping sideways to maintain distance. "I've known him all my life." Ethan laughed. "Which makes me curious about your whirlwind romance." William doesn't do emotion. "So what's your angle? Money? Status? Or is it the thrill of landing the city's most eligible bachelor?" "I love your brother," Maya stated firmly, the lie coming easily in the face of Ethan's insinuations. "That's the only angle that matters." "Love," Ethan repeated mockingly. "How quaint. Tell me, does my dying brother know about your little research project, the one you're desperate to fund?" Maya felt a chill that had nothing to do with the night air. I don't know what you're talking about. No? Ethan's smile was predatory. Your work on CRISPR gene editing for inherited neurological disorders? The very thing that might save William's life if it were further along? Convenient timing. Your marriage. You've been investigating me, Maya realized. Just looking out for family interests. Ethan shrugged. William might be blinded by whatever charms you've employed, but I'm not so easily fooled. Whatever you think you know, Maya began. I know enough. Ethan cut her off. Enjoy your moment as Mrs. Blackwood. It won't last. With that parting shot, he sauntered back inside, leaving Maya shaken. She remained on the terrace for several minutes, composing herself before returning to the gala. She found William in conversation with several board members, his expression serious. When he saw her, something in his face softened. He extended his hand, drawing her to his side as naturally as if they'd been married for years rather than weeks. Everything all right? He murmured as the conversation continued around them. Fine, Maya managed to smile, just a little overwhelmed by it all. William's arm slipped around her waist, supportive rather than possessive. We can leave soon, he promised. You've more than fulfilled your obligations tonight. Later, as their car pulled away from the event, Maya sank back against the leather seat, exhausted by the emotional whiplash of the evening. You were magnificent tonight, William said quietly. Everyone was charmed. Even your brother? Maya couldn't help asking. William's expression darkened, especially him, unfortunately. What did he say to you on the terrace? Nothing important, Maya lied, unwilling to introduce more tension. Just trying to get under my skin. Family trait, perhaps? To her surprise, William laughed. Touché, though I hope I'm slightly less obvious about it. The car turned into the mansion's drive, gravel crunching beneath the tires. Neither moved to exit when it stopped. Thank you, William said finally. Not just for tonight, for everything these past weeks. The medical consultations, the conversations. It's been less miserable than expected, Maya suggested with a small smile. Much less, William agreed, his own lips curving. In fact, I've found myself looking forward to our evenings. Maya's heart beat faster at the admission. Me too, she confessed. They sat in silence, something unspoken hanging in the air between them. Finally, William reached for the door. It's late, he said. You must be tired. William, Maya said impulsively, touching his arm. Did you mean what you said in your speech? About what truly matters? He turned back, his eyes meeting hers in the dim light of the car. Yes, he said simply. I'm beginning to see things differently. Their faces were close, breath mingling in the intimate space. Maya felt herself leaning toward him slightly, drawn by something she couldn't name. William's gaze dropped to her lips, then back to her eyes. Maya, he whispered, her name a question. She answered by closing the distance between them, her lips meeting his in a tentative kiss that quickly deepened as William's hand came up to cradle her face. When they finally broke apart, both were breathing unevenly. William rested his forehead against hers, eyes closed. This wasn't in the contract, he murmured. No, Maya agreed. It wasn't. They walked into the house together, his hand at the small of her back, guiding her not toward the separate wings where their suites lay, but to the library where they'd spent so many evenings. The fire had been banked, casting a warm glow over the room. William poured 2 glasses of brandy, handing one to Maya. To unexpected developments, he toasted. To breaking contract terms, Maya countered with a small smile, taking a sip and feeling the liquor warm her throat. William set his glass down, moving closer. I should have told you weeks ago, he said softly. Things changed for me. You changed them. What things? Maya asked, heart racing. How I see this arrangement. How I see you. William's fingers traced her cheek. You're brilliant, compassionate, stronger than anyone I've known, and I find myself thinking about you when you're not there, missing you when you're gone. Maya swallowed. That sounds dangerously close to genuine emotion, Mr. Blackwood. Terrifying, isn't it? William's smile was rueful. I've spent my life avoiding emotional entanglements. They're messy, unpredictable. Yet here we are, Maya observed, setting her own glass aside and stepping closer to him. Here we are, William agreed, his hand settling at her waist, breaking all the rules. This time when they kissed, there was nothing tentative about it. Months of tension and growing attraction poured into a connection that left them both breathless. William's hands tangled in her hair, sending pins scattering as the elaborate style came undone. Maya's fingers worked at his bow tie, his jacket, needing to be closer. Wait, William pulled back slightly, his breathing uneven. I need you to know, this isn't part of our agreement. You don't owe me this. Maya's heart swelled at his concern. I know, she said softly. This has nothing to do with contracts or obligations. This is just us. Something like wonder crossed William's face before he kissed her again, lifting her into his arms and carrying her toward the wing of the house she'd never entered, his private domain. Later, Lying in William's bed with her head on his chest, Maya tried to make sense of the evening's unexpected turn. His heartbeat was steady beneath her ear, his breathing deep and regular as he slept. She traced a finger lightly over the scar on his shoulder, evidence of a surgery he'd mentioned in his medical files. This complicated everything: her contract, her research, her heart. William might think he was falling for her, but would he feel the same if he knew the full truth about her research interests, about why she'd chosen this field, about her own genetic legacy? She slipped from the bed, gathering her scattered clothing, and made her way back to her own suite. Tomorrow would require clear heads and honest conversations. Tonight had been magical, but morning would bring reality back into focus. Maya didn't see William the next day. A note arrived with her breakfast tray, explaining he'd been called to an emergency board meeting and would be late returning. Relieved for the reprieve, she spent the day at the hospital with her father, whose improved condition was the one uncomplicated joy in her life. When she returned to the mansion that evening, she found Rebecca waiting with a tight expression. "Mr. Blackwood requests your presence in his study," she said, her tone even colder than usual. Maya's stomach clenched. Had he regretted last night? Was he going to remind her of their contract terms? She squared her shoulders and made her way to William's study, knocking lightly before entering. William stood at the window, his back to the door, silhouetted against the fading daylight. He didn't turn when she entered. "William?" Maya said tentatively. "Is everything all right? How long have you been researching my specific genetic disorder?" he asked, his voice flat. Maya blinked, surprised by the question. "Since we made our arrangement, I told you that." "No." William turned then, his face hard. "How long before our arrangement? I don't understand. Don't lie to me." William cut her off sharply. He threw a folder onto the desk between them. "Your grant applications, your research focus, all dating back 3 years, targeting the exact genetic mutation I carry." Maya felt the blood drain from her face. "Where did you get those? Does it matter?" "What matters is that you've been lying from the beginning." William's voice was cold, controlled. "You sought me out, didn't you? Used my condition to get close to me, to get funding." "No." Maya shook her head. "That's not what happened." "Yes, I've been researching your condition, but you didn't think to mention it. Not once during all our medical discussions? Not when I specifically asked why you chose your field?" "It's complicated," Maya said helplessly. "Simplify it for me." William's tone was cutting. "Explain how my dying brother just happens to marry a researcher specializing in his exact condition. Explain the grant applications seeking millions in funding that were rejected 3 times. Explain how the timeline perfectly coincides with your father's illness and your financial distress." Maya felt sick. "Ethan, he told you this." "Ethan showed me evidence," William corrected, after suspecting something wasn't right about our whirlwind romance. "And you believe him over me?" Maya asked, hurt washing through her. "After everything these past weeks? What should I believe, Maya? That it's all coincidence? That fate brought together a dying billionaire, and the one researcher desperate enough to marry for money who also happens to specialize in his exact condition? The universe isn't that convenient." Maya took a steadying breath. "You're right that it's not coincidence, but you're wrong about my motives." "Enlighten me," William said coldly. "I chose this field of research because it runs in my family," Maya said quietly. "My mother died of the same condition you have. It's genetic. My father doesn't have it, but I might. And if I do, any children I have might too." William's expression faltered slightly. "I've dedicated my career to finding a cure," Maya continued. "Not just for strangers, but for myself, for my future children. I didn't seek you out. I didn't know who you were until your proposal came. But yes, when I realized what condition you had, it felt meaningful. Like maybe some good could come from this arrangement beyond just money. And you didn't tell me this because it wasn't relevant to our contract," Maya shot back. "Because my medical history is private. Because I didn't want you thinking I married you to use you as a research subject. Didn't you?" William's voice was cutting. "Last night, was that part of your research too? Studying the subject up close?" The accusation hit like a physical blow. Maya took a step back, tears springing to her eyes. "How dare you?" she whispered. "Last night had nothing to do with research or contracts or money. It was real, at least for me." William's jaw tightened. "I think it's best if we revert to our original arrangement. Separate lives, public appearances only. The contract stands, but any personal development ends now." Maya nodded stiffly, blinking back tears. "Fine, if that's what you want. It's what makes sense," William replied. "Business, not emotion. That was always the agreement." "Right," Maya said, her voice hollow. "Just business." She turned to leave, then paused at the door. "For what it's worth, I never lied about what matters. I care about you, William. Not your money, not your genetics. You." She didn't wait for his response. The remaining months of their contract marriage passed in cold politeness. Maya and William maintained appearances in public, playing the devoted couple to perfection before returning to their separate lives behind closed doors. Maya threw herself into her research and her father's care, while William focused on his company and experimental treatments that seemed to be improving his condition. As the contract's end date approached, William's attorneys prepared the final paperwork. Maya would receive the balance of her payment, sign enhanced confidentiality agreements, and disappear from William Blackwood's life, as if their year together had never happened. Maya sat in William's study on their last day as husband and wife, reviewing the documents before her. Across the desk, William looked better than he had in months. The experimental treatment Dr. Huang had recommended was working, giving him an extended prognosis that might span years rather than months. "Everything appears to be in order," Maya said formally, signing the final page. "Is there anything else?" William slid an envelope across the desk. "Your final payment, as agreed." Maya looked at the envelope but didn't take it. "I've been thinking about that," she said carefully. "I don't want the full amount." William's eyebrows rose. "The contract specifies." "I know what it specifies," Maya interrupted, "but I only need enough to cover my father's remaining treatments. The rest," she pushed the envelope back toward him, "keep it for your foundation, or for Dr. Huang's research. It will do more good there." William studied her, his expression unreadable. "Why?" Maya met his gaze steadily. "Because taking more than I need would make this feel like something it wasn't." Something flickered in William's eyes. Regret, perhaps, or sorrow. "Maya, don't," she said softly. "We've said everything that needs saying. I fulfilled my part of the contract. You fulfilled yours. Clean break, just like we agreed." William nodded once, adjusting the envelope to contain the reduced amount. "The divorce filing will be processed tomorrow. Rebecca has arranged for a car to take you wherever you wish to go." "Thank you." Maya rose, smoothing her skirt with hands that trembled slightly. This was it, the end of the strangest year of her life. "I hope the treatment continues to help, and I hope you find happiness, William. You deserve it." William's mask slipped for just a moment, showing a vulnerability that made Maya's heart ache. "As do you," he said quietly. She nodded once and turned to leave. "Maya," William called as she reached the door. "For what it's worth, not all of it was business for me either." Maya closed her eyes briefly, absorbing the words. "Goodbye, William." She left without looking back, a single betraying tear sliding down her cheek. 3 months after the divorce, Maya sat in her doctor's office, staring at the ultrasound image in disbelief. "You're approximately 14 weeks along," Dr. Chen was saying. "Everything looks healthy. Would you like to know the gender?" Maya nodded mutely, still processing the reality of the tiny life growing inside her. A life created during that one night with William, before everything fell apart. "It's a girl," Dr. Chen smiled. "Congratulations. A daughter. William's daughter." Maya placed a protective hand over her still flat stomach, thinking of the genetic condition that might lurk in the baby's DNA, the same condition that had killed Maya's mother and threatened William's life. "I'd like to schedule additional genetic testing," Maya said, her researcher's mind already calculating possibilities and risks. "Of course, Dr. Ploss," Chen nodded. "Given your family history, that's wise." Maya left the clinic in a daze, one question dominating her thoughts. Should she tell William? He had a right to know. But their parting had been final, their relationship broken beyond repair by mistrust. And William was finally getting better, focusing on his company's future. Would news of an unexpected child, one who might carry his genetic condition, be a cruel burden rather than a joy? In the end, Maya made her decision based on what she believed was best for everyone. She would raise her child alone, protected from the Blackwood family drama and corporate politics. She would continue her research, more determined than ever to find treatments that might help her daughter if she developed symptoms later in life. She would not contact William, not now, maybe not ever. 5 years passed. Maya sat in a sterile hospital waiting room, clutching a well-worn teddy bear and watching the clock. Behind closed doors, her daughter Lily was undergoing tests to confirm what Maya already knew in her heart. The genetic condition had manifested. It had started with small things, unusual fatigue, occasional tremors, nothing a casual observer would notice in an energetic 5-year-old. But Maya had been watching, dreading these signs since Lily's birth. The specialist had been cautiously optimistic. If it is the condition, it appears to be a milder variant, and treatments have advanced significantly in recent years. Maya knew this better than most. Her own research had contributed to those advances, though without the Blackwood resources behind her, progress had been slower than she'd hoped. "Dr. Porter?" A nurse appeared in the doorway. "They're finishing up with Lily now. She's asking for Mr. Snuggles." She nodded at the teddy bear in Maya's hands. "Of course." Maya stood, forcing a smile. "How is she doing?" "Brave as can be," the nurse assured her. She told Dr. Patterson all about how she's going to be a scientist like her mommy when she grows up. Maya's heart swelled with pride and ached with fear simultaneously. Lily was everything: bright, compassionate, stubborn, with William's piercing blue eyes and Maya's dark curls. She deserved a long, healthy life, not the uncertainty of a genetic time bomb. The clinic door opened, and several people emerged from another examination room, a doctor speaking with a tall man whose back was to Maya. Something about his posture, the set of his shoulders, made her freeze in recognition. As if sensing her presence, the man turned. William Blackwood looked both exactly the same and completely different. Still imposingly tall, still impeccably dressed, but thinner now, with silver threading through his dark hair and lines of pain around his eyes that hadn't been there 5 years ago. Their gazes locked across the waiting room. William's eyes widened in recognition, then narrowed in confusion at her presence in this specialized genetic disorders clinic. Before either could speak, another door opened and Lily bounded out, her face lighting up at the sight of Maya. "Mommy, Dr. Patterson let me see my blood cells on the computer," she exclaimed, rushing to Maya and accepting the teddy bear with a grateful hug. "They're all wiggly and cool." "That's wonderful, sweetie," Maya managed, her eyes still locked with William's over their daughter's head. William's gaze dropped to Lily, taking in her features with an expression of dawning realization. The blue eyes, his eyes, the determined chin, the way she held herself. Even without knowing her age, the resemblance was unmistakable. "Lily," Maya said, finding her voice, "we should get going. You have homework to finish before dinner." "But you promised ice cream if I was brave," Lily reminded her, the same negotiating tone that William had used in business dealings. "Rain check, sweetheart," Maya said apologetically, taking Lily's hand and steering her toward the exit, away from William. "Mommy needs to get home to check on some work things." "Excuse me," William's deep voice stopped them. "I believe you dropped this." He held out Lily's bright purple hair clip, his eyes never leaving Maya's face. "Thank you," Maya said stiffly, taking it without letting their fingers touch. "I'm Lily," her daughter announced, extending her small hand with the social confidence Maya had always encouraged. "I'm 5 3/4. Are you sick too? This is a special doctor for people like me and Mommy." William crouched to Lily's level, his expression softening. "Hello, Lily. I'm William, and yes, I come to this doctor too." His eyes flickered to Maya. 5 3/4 is quite grown up. That's what I keep telling Mommy," Lily agreed seriously. "But she still cuts my sandwiches in 4 pieces instead of 2. A ghost of a smile touched William's lips. "Moms are like that, very cautious." Maya felt panic rising. This couldn't be happening. Not here, not now, not like this. "Lily, we really need to go," she said, more firmly this time. William stood, his eyes conveying a clear message. "This isn't over. It was nice meeting you, Lily," he said, his voice gentle. "Perhaps we'll see each other again." Maya hurried Lily from the clinic, her heart pounding. In the taxi home, Lily chattered about the tests and the nice doctors, while Maya's mind raced with implications. William knew, or at least suspected. What would he do now? She got her answer the following morning when her doorbell rang. Maya had just sent Lily off to kindergarten with the next-door neighbor's daughter, giving her a rare, quiet morning to catch up on research analysis. William stood on her doorstep, looking out of place in his expensive suit amid the modest apartment building's worn hallway. "How did you find me?" Maya asked, not inviting him in. "I have resources," William replied simply. "May I come in? I think we have things to discuss." Reluctantly, Maya stepped back, allowing him into the small apartment. She was acutely aware of how different it was from the mansion they'd shared, comfortable but modest, with Lily's artwork decorating the refrigerator and toys neatly organized in bins along one wall. William surveyed the space before turning to face her. "She's mine, isn't she?" Maya saw no point in denial. "Yes, 5 3/4, William calculated aloud. "Conceived during our marriage, born after our divorce. Yes. Why didn't you tell me?" The question held more hurt than anger. Maya crossed her arms defensively. "You made it very clear that our arrangement was strictly business. You accused me of using you for research. What was I supposed to say? Sorry about the trust issues, but surprise. I'm pregnant with your heir?" William flinched slightly. "You had 5 years to reconsider that decision. And you had a year to trust me," Maya countered. "You chose to believe Ethan's manipulations instead." They stared at each other. 5 years of absence stretched between them like a chasm. "She has my condition," William said finally. It wasn't a question. "A milder variant," Maya confirmed. "We're just beginning treatment protocols." William ran a hand through his hair, a gesture of frustration Maya remembered well. "She deserves the best care available. The Blackwood resources. We're managing," Maya interrupted. "I've built a career, William. A good one. Lily wants for nothing, except a father," William said quietly. The words landed like a physical blow. Maya turned away, fighting tears. "That was my decision to make, right or wrong. It was our decision, William corrected. She is our daughter. A daughter you never knew existed until yesterday, Maya pointed out. Your life has moved on. The company, the new treatments. You don't need this complication. William moved closer, turning Maya to face him. A child is not a complication, Maya. She's a miracle. His voice softened. Our miracle. Something in Maya's resolve cracked at his words. I was trying to protect her, she whispered. From disappointment, from rejection, from watching you die like I watched my mother die. Understanding dawned in William's eyes. You were protecting yourself too. Maya nodded, a tear escaping despite her efforts. I couldn't bear it. Losing you once was enough. William's hand reached up as if to wipe away her tear, then dropped without touching her. The treatment worked initially, he said, but the effects have been diminishing this past year. That's why I was at the clinic yesterday. They're adjusting the protocol. Fear clutched at Maya's heart. Are they optimistic? Cautiously, William echoed the word doctors always used. But I've outlived their original prognosis by years, so that's something. An awkward silence fell between them, broken when William spotted a framed photo on the bookshelf. Lily, at about 3, grinning widely with chocolate ice cream smeared across her face. She's beautiful, he said softly. She has your smile. And your eyes, Maya added. And your stubbornness. William laughed, a rusty sound as if rarely used. Poor child. He turned back to Maya. I want to know her, Maya. I've missed 5 years. I don't want to miss any more. It's not that simple, Maya sighed. She's a person, not a possession to be shared. She has a routine, a life, and she doesn't know about you. What have you told her about her father? That he was a good man who couldn't be with us, but who would have loved her very much if he'd known her. Maya's voice wavered. I never wanted her to feel unwanted. William's expression softened. Thank you for that, at least. Before Maya could respond, her phone rang. Seeing the school's number, she answered immediately, her face paling as she listened. I'll be right there, she said, hanging up. Lily collapsed during morning circle. They've called an ambulance. Her hands shook as she grabbed her purse. I need to go. I'm coming with you, William said firmly, already heading for the door. Too worried to argue, Maya followed. The emergency room was a blur of activity. Lily had been admitted immediately, her condition familiar to the hospital that specialized in genetic disorders. Maya provided medical history while William stood silently beside her, his presence oddly steadying despite the circumstances. When the doctor emerged from the examination room, his expression was serious. We need to start more aggressive treatment right away, he explained. The genetic markers show her condition is progressing faster than we anticipated. Whatever she needs, Maya agreed immediately. We'll try anything. The doctor hesitated. There's an experimental protocol showing promise, but it's extremely expensive and not covered by insurance. It's currently only available through the Blackwood Foundation's research program. Maya felt William stiffen beside her. Cost is not a concern, he said. Dr. Porter and I will ensure Lily receives whatever treatment she needs. The doctor looked between them, confusion evident. You're William Blackwood, he said simply. Lily is my daughter. The doctor's eyes widened in recognition. Mr. Blackwood, of course, that simplifies things considerably. I'll make some calls to fast-track her admission to the program. When they were alone, Maya turned to William. You didn't have to do that. Yes, I did, William replied firmly. She's my daughter, Maya. I won't stand by while she suffers if I can help. Maya studied his face, seeing genuine concern rather than obligation. Thank you, she said softly. They were allowed to see Lily soon after. She looked tiny in the hospital bed, hooked up to monitors, but her face brightened when she saw Maya. Mommy, the ambulance had a siren and everything. Maya rushed to her side, smoothing back her dark curls. You gave me quite a scare, sweetie. Lily's eyes moved past Maya to William, who hung back uncertainly. You're the man from the doctor's office, she said. William. He stepped forward, his usual commanding presence softened. Hello again, Lily. I'm sorry you're not feeling well. Are you sick too? Lily asked with a child's directness. Mommy says I have special blood like she does. That's why I get tired sometimes. William glanced at Maya before answering gently. Yes, I have special blood too. But doctors are very good at helping people like us. Lily considered this. Are you Mommy's friend? She doesn't have many grown-up friends. Mostly just Dr. Elena from her work and Ms. Patel next door. Maya flushed. Lily, your mom and I are old friends, William said, saving Maya from having to explain. We haven't seen each other in a long time, but I'm very glad to see her again. And to meet you. Lily yawned, the medication making her drowsy. You talk fancy, like the princes in my storybooks. William's lips twitched. Is that good or bad? Good, Lily decided, her eyes drifting closed. Princesses only kiss princes who talk fancy. As she drifted off to sleep, Maya and William exchanged a look, part amusement, part shared worry for the child between them. She's strong, William said quietly, like her mother, and stubborn like her father, Maya added with a small smile. She decided at age 3 that purple was the only acceptable color and has refused to wear anything else since. William laughed softly. I went through a similar phase with blue at about her age. Drove my nanny to distraction. The easy moment faded as a nurse entered to check Lily's vitals. I should call my team, William said. Make sure she gets priority placement in the treatment program. Maya nodded. I'll stay with her. William paused at the door. Maya, I'd like to tell her the truth, when the time is right. Maya looked at her sleeping daughter, thinking of all the questions she'd someday ask about her father. Let's get her well first, she said. Then we'll figure out the rest. The next days passed in a blur of tests, treatments, and medical consultations. William was a constant presence, using his influence to ensure Lily received the best care possible while deferring to Maya on all decisions. They established an uneasy truce, focused entirely on their daughter's well-being. On the 3rd day, Maya arrived at the hospital to find William already there, reading a story to a delighted Lily. Her heart clenched at the sight, William's deep voice animating the characters, Lily giggling at his silly expressions. They looked right together, the resemblance between them unmistakable. Mommy, Lily exclaimed when she spotted Maya. William knows all the voices for the Gruffalo, even better than you. High praise indeed. Maya smiled, setting down her bag. How are you feeling today, sweetie? Better. Dr. Kate says my numbers are improving. William said that's excellent news. Maya glanced at William, who nodded confirmation. The new treatment protocol is showing positive effects already, he explained. Her cellular response is extremely encouraging. William said he has the same special blood as me, Lily continued excitedly. And he gets special medicine too. Isn't that cool? It's like we match. The innocent comment hung in the air between the adults. Very cool, Maya agreed, her voice catching slightly. Hey, why don't you watch your show for a bit while William and I talk outside? In the hallway, Maya leaned against the wall, suddenly exhausted. She's bonding with you already. Is that a bad thing? William asked carefully. No, Maya admitted. It's just happening so fast. 1 minute you weren't in our lives at all, and now you're here, reading her favorite books and discussing her test results. Would you prefer I step back? William's tone was neutral, but Maya could see the tension in his jaw. That's not fair and you know it, Maya sighed. You're her father. She deserves to know you. But this, she gestured vaguely, is complicated. For everyone. William was quiet for a moment. I've instructed my legal team to update my will, he said finally. Lily will be named as my heir, with you as trustee until she's of age. Maya stared at him. William, it's not negotiable, he cut her off. She's my daughter, my blood. Everything I've built will be hers someday. She doesn't need your fortune, Maya said. She needs stability, care, love, and she'll have all of that, William assured her, along with the security that comes with the Blackwood name and resources. Maya studied him, seeing the determination in his eyes. This isn't just about providing for her, is it? It's about Ethan, about keeping the company away from him. William's expression hardened slightly. Protecting Lily and protecting the company from Ethan are not mutually exclusive goals. Before Maya could respond, a commotion down the hall caught their attention. Hospital security was escorting someone out, someone who looked remarkably like William. Ethan, William muttered, striding toward the scene with Maya following. You can't keep me from seeing my niece. Ethan was shouting as security held him back. I have a right to know about my brother's secret love child. William's face darkened with fury. Leave, now, before I have you arrested for harassment. Ethan's angry expression morphed into a smile when he spotted William. There you are, brother dear. And Dr. Porter too. Family reunion. How touching. How did you find out about Lily? William demanded. I make it my business to know what you're up to. Ethan shrugged. Imagine my surprise when I learned about your little hospital visits. Even more surprised to discover you have a 5-year-old daughter you never knew about. His gaze shifted to Maya. Quite the secret you've been keeping, Doctor. This doesn't concern you, Maya said coldly. Oh, but it does, Ethan countered. Anything that affects Blackwood Enterprises concerns me. And a surprise heir? That's very significant indeed. William stepped closer to his brother, voice low with controlled rage. If you come near my daughter again, there will be consequences. Ethan's smile didn't waver. Save the threats, William. The board will be very interested to learn about your secret family, especially since your precious contract marriage was a sham all along. Get out, William ordered. Gladly. Ethan nodded to Maya. Always a pleasure, Dr. Porter. We'll be seeing more of each other, I'm sure. As security escorted him away, Maya turned to William in alarm. What did he mean about the board being interested? William's expression was grim. Grandfather's will had very specific conditions about legitimate heirs. If Ethan can convince the board our marriage was fraudulent, he could challenge Lily's status as my heir. But the marriage was legal, Maya protested. The fact that it was arranged doesn't change that. In court, perhaps not. But in the court of public opinion and board politics, Ethan would spin it as deception. William ran a hand through his hair in frustration. He's never accepted that grandfather chose me to lead the company. Now he senses an opportunity to take what he's always wanted. Maya felt a chill. So he'll use Lily as a pawn in your corporate game. I won't let that happen, William promised, his voice steel. I'll protect her, Maya, no matter what it takes. Maya believed him. Whatever else had happened between them, William's devotion to their daughter was already fiercely evident. We should get back to Lily, she said. I don't want her alone after that scene. When they returned to the room, Lily was still watching her show, blissfully unaware of the confrontation. Everything okay? She asked, noticing their serious expressions. Everything's fine, sweetheart, Maya assured her, forcing a smile. Just grown-up stuff. William hung back, watching them with a thoughtful expression. Lily, he said suddenly, would you like to hear a story about a princess with special blood like yours? Lily perked up immediately. Is it a new story? I love new stories. Very new, William said, sitting on the edge of her bed. In fact, I think you might be the first person to hear it. Maya watched as William crafted a fairy tale about a brave princess whose special blood gave her magical powers, and whose parents loved her very much even when they had to be apart. The story was simple but beautiful, and Maya found herself blinking back tears as William's deep voice spun the tale of love and courage. When Lily finally drifted off to sleep, William and Maya stepped into the hallway again. That was beautiful, Maya said softly. Thank you. I meant every word, William replied. Maya, we need to tell her soon, before Ethan or someone else says something she shouldn't hear from strangers. Maya nodded reluctantly. You're right. When she's a bit stronger, we'll explain it together. William's phone buzzed with a message. His expression turned serious as he read it. I need to go. Corporate fires to put out, courtesy of my brother, I'm sure. Go, Maya said. We'll be fine. You've already done so much. William hesitated, then pulled a business card from his pocket and wrote something on the back. My private number, he explained, handing it to her. Call anytime, day or night, if anything changes with Lily. Or if you just want to talk. Their fingers brushed as she took the card, and for a moment, the years between them seemed to disappear. Then William straightened, his professional mask sliding back into place. I'll be back tomorrow morning, he promised. Earlier if I can manage it. After he left, Maya sank into the chair beside Lily's bed, her mind racing with implications. William was back in their lives, not just as a distant financial provider, but as a father eager to know his daughter. And Ethan was already plotting to use Lily in his ongoing battle with William. She looked at her sleeping daughter, so innocent and unaware of the complex adult world surrounding her. One thing was clear, Maya would do whatever it took to protect Lily, both from Ethan's machinations and from any heartbreak William might unintentionally cause if his health deteriorated again. She pulled out her laptop and began reviewing her latest research data. There had to be a way to improve the treatment protocol. Lily's life, and perhaps William's too, might depend on it. Lily was discharged from the hospital a week later, her condition stabilized by the experimental treatment from the Blackwood Foundation's program. During that week, William had been a constant presence, arriving early each morning and staying late into the evening, getting to know his daughter through stories, games, and conversations about her favorite things. Maya watched their bond form with a mixture of joy and trepidation. Lily was already attached to her new friend William, not yet knowing he was her father. And William, beneath his usual reserved exterior, was clearly enchanted by the precocious child who shared not just his eyes but his quick mind and determined spirit. The day after Lily returned home, Maya invited William to their apartment for dinner, a significant step in whatever new relationship they were forming. Mommy made purple pasta, Lily announced when William arrived, bearing gifts of a stuffed dragon, purple, of course, and a book about a girl scientist. Purple pasta? William raised an eyebrow at Maya. Bow-tie pasta with beet sauce, Maya explained with a smile. Looks purple, tastes delicious, and full of vegetables she'd otherwise refuse to eat. Clever? William nodded appreciatively. The evening was surprisingly comfortable, Lily chattering happily, Maya and William exchanging fond glances at her antics. For a brief time, they felt almost like a normal family, the years of separation and mistrust momentarily forgotten. After Lily went to bed, Maya and William sat in the small living room, mugs of tea in hand. Thank you, William said quietly, for this evening, for letting me be part of her life. She adores you already, Maya replied, which makes what we need to discuss even more important. William nodded, his expression turning serious. Ethan's been busy. He's called an emergency board meeting for next week. The agenda includes succession planning concerns. He's moving fast, Maya observed. He thinks he has leverage with the revelation about Lily. William's jaw tightened. He's already hinted to several board members that our marriage was a sham designed to circumvent grandfather's will conditions. Which it was, Maya pointed out gently. Initially, yes, but not by the end. William's eyes met hers, full of unspoken meaning. At least not for me. Maya looked away, unwilling to revisit those complicated emotions. What can he actually do? Legally, I mean. Potentially. A lot. William sighed. Grandfather's will specified, legitimate heirs inherit controlling interest. If Ethan can prove our marriage was contracted specifically to circumvent the will's intent, he could challenge Lily's status. That's ridiculous, Maya protested. She's your biological daughter, born while we were legally married, which is why I'm confident we'll prevail in the end, William assured her. But Ethan will make it messy, public. He'll drag your name through the mud, portray you as a gold digger who trapped me with a child. Maya felt sick at the thought. Lily might hear those things. I won't let it get that far, William promised. I've scheduled a meeting with Grandfather's original attorney tomorrow. There might be clauses or precedents we can use. And if there aren't, William's expression hardened. Then I'll fight Ethan with everything I have, for Lily's sake. The determination in his voice was familiar, the same drive that had built his company and kept him alive despite his prognosis. Whatever their past, Maya knew William Blackwood was a formidable ally in a fight. We should tell Lily the truth soon, she said, before she hears something from someone else. William nodded. This weekend, if you're comfortable with it. Saturday, Maya agreed. I'll prepare her a little beforehand. As William rose to leave, an unexpected wave of dizziness hit him. He steadied himself against the wall, his face suddenly pale. William? Maya was at his side instantly, medical training kicking in. When did you last take your medication? He checked his watch with a grimace. I missed the afternoon dose. Board meetings ran long. Maya guided him to the sofa. Sit, I'll get water. When she returned, William was looking better but still shaken. Sorry about that, he muttered. The new protocol has stricter timing requirements. You can't afford to miss doses, Maya said firmly, handing him the water. Your condition is under control, William interrupted. Most days. Maya studied him with a researcher's eye. But not all days. The tremor in your left hand is more pronounced. You're having more dizzy spells. The treatment efficacy is decreasing, isn't it? William looked away. The doctors are adjusting the approach. William, Maya sat beside him. I need to know how serious this is. For Lily's sake. If you're getting worse, I'm not dying tomorrow. If that's what you're asking, William said sharply. I still have time. How much time? His eyes met hers, unflinching. Without a significant breakthrough? A year, maybe 2. Maya absorbed this with a professional calm that masked her inner turmoil. The same protocol Lily's on. Works differently for her, William explained. Her variant responds better to treatment. The doctors are very optimistic about her prognosis. But not about yours, Maya finished quietly. William's hand found hers, squeezed gently. I've outlived their original timeline by years. Every day is a gift I didn't expect to have. And now, his voice softened. Now I get to know my daughter. That's more than I could have hoped for. Maya felt tears threatening. After everything, the thought of William facing this again, of Lily losing her father just after finding him, was unbearable. There might be something, she said hesitantly. In my research, a new approach we've been developing. William raised an eyebrow. Go on. It's a modified CRISPR-Cas9 system with enhanced targeting for our specific mutation. Maya stood, pacing as she often did when explaining complex science. The preliminary lab results are promising, significantly better than anything currently in trials. How preliminary? William asked, his business acumen assessing the timeline. We need more data, more funding, Maya admitted. But the approach is sound. If I could get more lab resources, faster sequencing capabilities. Done, William said immediately. Whatever you need, the Blackwood Foundation will fund it fully. Maya shook her head. It can't be Blackwood money. Why not? Because then it looks exactly like what Ethan accused me of 5 years ago, Maya explained. Using you and your condition for research funding. If this works, if we publish, there can't be any question about conflicts of interest or ethical compromises. William considered this. There are ways to create distance, blind funding through third parties. Perhaps, Maya conceded. But there's another issue. The approach is radical. It could accelerate your condition rather than improve it. The risk-benefit ratio is irrelevant if the alternative is certain decline, William finished. I'm a willing test subject, Maya. If your research could help others with this condition in the future, help Lily if she needs it someday, the risk is worth it. Maya recognized the determined set of his jaw. Let me at least complete the next phase of testing before we discuss human trials. While continuing Lily's current treatment, William stipulated. Her care comes first. Always, Maya agreed softly. For a moment they were in perfect alignment. Two parents prioritizing their child. Two fighters unwilling to surrender to genetic fate without a battle. William stood, steadier now. I should go. It's late. At the door, he turned back. Thank you, Maya. Not just for dinner or for your research. For giving me Lily. She's extraordinary. She is, Maya smiled. Just like her father. Something flickered in William's eyes. Surprise, perhaps. or gratitude for the acknowledgement. I'll see you Saturday for our talk with Lily. After he left, Maya sat for a long time thinking. In just 2 weeks, William had become a fixture in their lives again, his presence both comforting and complicated. And now, knowing his condition was worsening once more, Maya felt the pressure of time. Time Lily needed with her father. Time for her research to potentially help him. Time they'd lost to misunderstandings and hurt. Saturday arrived with a mix of sunshine and clouds, fitting weather for the emotional conversation ahead. Maya had gently prepared Lily, explaining that William had something important to tell her, something wonderful but surprising. Is it a good surprise or a scary surprise? Lily had asked. Practical as always. A good surprise, Maya assured her, but it might feel a little confusing at first, and that's okay. William arrived precisely at noon, bearing lunch from Lily's favorite sandwich shop. As they ate at the small kitchen table, Maya caught his eye, giving a slight nod. It was time. Lily, William began carefully. Do you remember asking me if I was your mommy's friend? Lily nodded, taking another bite of her sandwich. You said you were old friends who hadn't seen each other in a long time. That's true, William confirmed. But there's more to the story. Something very special that your mom and I wanted to tell you together. Lily looked between them curiously. What is it? William's voice was gentle. I'm your father, Lily. The little girl's eyes widened. She looked at Maya for confirmation. It's true, sweetheart, Maya said softly. William is your daddy. Lily considered this with remarkable composure for a 5-year-old. But you said my daddy couldn't be with us. That's because I didn't know about you, William explained. I was away, and your mom and I weren't together anymore when she found out she was going to have you. Like Zoe in my class, Lily reasoned. Her mommy and daddy live in different houses and take turns having her. Something like that, Maya nodded. But William and I didn't know about each other for a long time. We only found each other again at the hospital. Is that why you have the same special blood as me? Lily asked William. Because you're my daddy? William smiled gently. Yes, that special blood is something that runs in families sometimes. Lily digested this information. Do you want to be my daddy now? She asked finally, her voice small. William moved to kneel beside her chair, meeting her eyes. More than anything in the world, Lily. I've missed so much time with you already. If you'll let me, I'd like to be your father for every day from now on. Lily studied him intently, then reached out to touch his face, as if confirming he was real. Will you live with us now? Zoe's daddy doesn't live with them anymore. William glanced at Maya before answering carefully. No, I'll still have my own home, but I'll see you very often, if that's okay with you and your mom. Like on a schedule? Lily was nothing if not practical. We'll figure all that out, Maya assured her. The important thing is that your daddy loves you very much and wants to be part of your life. Lily considered this solemnly, then asked, if you're my daddy, does that mean I can have a purple pony now? The tension broke as both adults laughed in relief. Not a real one, William smiled. But perhaps we can discuss riding lessons when you're feeling stronger. That's what Mommy always says about everything good. Lily sighed dramatically. When you're feeling stronger, I'm strong now. She flexed her small arm to demonstrate. You are definitely getting stronger, Maya agreed. And now you have both of us to help you get even stronger. Lily beamed, accepting the situation with the resilience of childhood. Can we have ice cream to celebrate? Since William is my daddy now? I think that's an excellent idea, William agreed, his eyes meeting Maya's over their daughter's head, sharing a moment of pure joy amid all the complications. As the days passed, they established a new routine. William came for dinner most evenings and spent weekends with them when possible. Lily adjusted to the idea of having a father with remarkable ease, quickly becoming comfortable enough to test boundaries and make demands as any child would with a parent. But beneath the domestic harmony, storm clouds gathered. Ethan's board meeting loomed, and William's health had noticeably declined, something he tried to hide from Lily but couldn't completely conceal from Maya's trained eye. 3 days before the board meeting, William arrived at Maya's apartment looking grim. What's happened? Maya asked once Lily was occupied with her favorite cartoon. Ethan's been busy. William handed her a manila folder. He's hired private investigators. They've been building a case. Maya opened the folder to find photos of herself from 5 years ago, entering the university genetics lab, meeting with colleagues, all with timestamps and annotations suggesting she had targeted William specifically for his condition and fortune. This is absurd, she said, flipping through the pages. These meetings were about my ongoing research, not about you. I know that, William said quietly. But Ethan has constructed a narrative that paints you as a calculated opportunist who engineered our meeting, seduced me, and then hid my child from me until you needed more funding. Maya closed the folder, feeling ill. Why show this to me now? Because he's taking it to the board tomorrow, a day earlier than scheduled, William said grimly. And he's adding a new twist, suggesting your current research using Blackwood Foundation resources is ethically compromised because of our personal history. But I've been transparent. All my protocols have been reviewed by independent ethics committees. Ethan doesn't care about facts, William reminded her. He cares about creating enough doubt and scandal to force my removal. If he succeeds, he'll control the company and the foundation. The implication was clear. Lily's treatment program, funded through the foundation, could be jeopardized. What do we do? Maya asked. We fight back. William's expression was resolute. Rebecca has been gathering evidence of Ethan's own ethical violations for years. She came to me this morning, remorseful about her role in his schemes. Rebecca? Maya was surprised. I thought she was loyal to you. She was, William sighed, until Ethan convinced her I was weak, failing, unsuited to lead anymore. He promised her advancement if she helped him monitor my activities. And now she's changed sides again? She claims seeing Lily in the hospital changed her perspective, William explained. Made her realize Ethan would destroy anything or anyone in his path to control. Maya wasn't convinced. Can we trust her? Her evidence checks out, William said, including proof that Ethan deliberately sabotaged my medication 3 years ago, replacing it with placebos to accelerate my decline. Maya gasped. That's criminal, attempted murder, and nearly successful, William agreed grimly. It set back my treatment progress significantly. Maya felt cold rage building. Ethan hadn't just tried to steal a company. He'd tried to kill his own brother, and now he was threatening Lily's future. We need to go to the authorities, she insisted. Not yet, William cautioned. We need to secure Lily's position first. Once Ethan is removed from the board and Lily's inheritance is protected, then we'll pursue criminal charges. Maya shook her head. I don't care about the inheritance, William. I care about keeping Lily safe from a man who would sabotage his own brother's medication. The inheritance is what keeps her safe, William explained. With controlling interest in the company, Lily, through her trustees, can ensure the foundation continues funding research that might someday save her life. Maya stood, pacing with nervous energy. I hate this. Using Lily as a pawn in a corporate chess game. Not a pawn, William corrected quietly. The queen, the most powerful piece, the one worth protecting at all costs. Their eyes met, united in purpose despite their different approaches. So what's the plan? Maya asked finally. Tomorrow, I present evidence of Ethan's sabotage to keyboard members before the meeting. Rebecca testifies to what she witnessed. We discredit him before he can present his case against you. And if that doesn't work, William's expression turned cold. Then I release evidence I've held back for years. Recordings of Ethan admitting to fraudulent business practices. It would destroy him personally and professionally. Why haven't you used this before? Maya asked, surprised. Because he's still my brother, William said simply. Because grandfather asked me to protect him, even from himself. But Lily comes first now, before family sentiment, before promises to the dead. Maya nodded, understanding the weight of that decision. I should go to the board meeting with you, defend myself. No, William said firmly. I need you here with Lily, protected from the fallout. Besides, you have more important work to do. The research, Maya realized. You still want me to prioritize that? Now more than ever, William confirmed. If Ethan has been sabotaging my treatment, who knows how much time I've lost. Your approach might be my best hope now. The gravity of the situation settled between them. William wasn't just fighting for his company or even for Lily's inheritance. He was fighting for the chance to see his daughter grow up. I'll work around the clock, Maya promised. The latest data is encouraging. If I can just isolate the delivery mechanism properly. Use whatever resources you need, William said. I've set up the blind funding channels we discussed. No direct links to Blackwood money. As he prepared to leave, William hesitated. Maya, if tomorrow goes badly, if Ethan succeeds, he won't, Maya said with more confidence than she felt. But if he does, we'll find another way. We always do. William studied her face, seeming to draw strength from her resolve. I never thanked you properly, he said quietly. For what? For giving me a chance to know Lily. Even with everything else happening, these weeks with her have been. He searched for words, the most meaningful of my life. Maya felt her throat tighten with emotion. She needs you, William. Fight like hell tomorrow. Come back to her. I will, he promised, to both of you. The weight of those words hung in the air between them, laden with possibilities neither was ready to acknowledge. The next morning, Maya tried to focus on her research while waiting for news from the board meeting. Lily was at her half-day kindergarten, unaware of the corporate battle being waged over her future. When Maya's phone rang just after noon, her heart raced seeing William's number. How did it go? She asked immediately. Not here. William's voice was strained. Can you meet me? There's something you need to see. 20 minutes later, Maya entered the small cafe 2 blocks from her apartment. William sat in a corner booth, a laptop open before him, his expression grim. What happened? Maya asked, sliding in across from him. Ethan was prepared for Rebecca's testimony, William said without preamble. He claimed she was acting out of romantic interest in me, made her look foolish, unreliable. And the evidence of medication tampering? Inconclusive without her corroboration. William ran a hand through his hair in frustration, but that's not the worst of it. He had this. He turned the laptop toward Maya. On screen was a research grant application she'd submitted 3 years ago, before meeting William. It detailed her interest in the specific genetic mutation they shared, highlighted passages emphasizing the potential financial benefits of treatment breakthroughs. "This proves nothing," Maya said, confused by his concern. "It's a standard grant application. Look at the notes section," William directed, his voice tight. Maya scrolled down to find handwritten notes in the margin of the printed document. "Blackwood genetic profile matches our target. Worth pursuing personal connection?" And below that, Blackwood Foundation, annual funding, 50 million, priority target. "These aren't my notes," Maya said immediately. "I never wrote this." "I know," William said quietly. "They're forgeries, but very convincing ones, especially when presented alongside photos of you allegedly stalking me before our meeting." Maya felt sick. "He's framing me as some kind of predatory researcher who targeted you for your genetics and your money." "The board is concerned," William acknowledged. "They've called an emergency session for tomorrow to consider temporary leadership changes while investigating these allegations. They can't seriously believe I orchestrated our entire relationship as some elaborate research scam," Maya protested. "What they believe doesn't matter," William said bitterly. "What matters is that Ethan has created enough doubt to justify his power grab. So what now? You said there was something I needed to see." William's expression softened slightly. "Not the forgeries. This." He tapped a few keys, bringing up a different document, a medical report with Lily's name at the top. Maya read quickly, her researcher's mind processing the implications immediately. "This can't be right. These markers weren't present in her last test. I had her samples reanalyzed by an independent lab," William explained. "Ethan has been interfering with her treatment protocol, diluting the medication, manipulating test results to make it appear more effective than it is." Horror washed over Maya. "He's endangering our daughter to strengthen his position against you? That's monstrous." "It's calculated," William corrected grimly. "He knows I'd do anything to protect Lily, including stepping down voluntarily if I believed it would secure better care for her. We need to get her out of that treatment program immediately," Maya insisted. "Already done. I've arranged for a new protocol at Mayo Clinic, completely independent of Blackwood Foundation oversight." Maya's mind raced, connecting dots. "Your condition. Is it possible he's been sabotaging your treatment too? Not just that one time 3 years ago, but continuously?" William nodded. "Almost certainly. Which explains why the protocols that should be working show diminishing effects. This changes everything," Maya said, her researcher's mind clicking into overdrive. "If your treatment hasn't been properly administered, then my research models have been based on faulty assumptions about efficacy rates." Meaning my approach might work better than I've projected," Maya explained, excitement breaking through her anger. "I've been accounting for treatment resistance that might not actually exist." For the first time that day, hope flickered in William's eyes. "How quickly can you recalibrate?" "I'll need new baseline data, clean samples, proper testing." Maya was already making mental calculations. "And we'll need facilities Ethan can't access or manipulate." "I have private resources," William assured her. "Labs, equipment, staff loyal to me personally rather than to the company. This is a race now," Maya said solemnly. "Ethan has shown he'll do anything to get what he wants. We need to protect Lily and stabilize your condition before he can cause more damage." William reached across the table, taking her hand. "We'll win this fight, Maya. For Lily." She squeezed his hand, drawing strength from his determination. "For all of us." 3 months passed in a blur of activity. William temporarily stepped back from active leadership at Blackwood Enterprises, citing health concerns while he fought a two-front battle, in the boardroom against Ethan's machinations, and in the laboratory where Maya's research team worked tirelessly on their new approach. Lily thrived under the adjusted treatment protocol, unaware of the corporate drama swirling around her inheritance. She simply enjoyed having her father in her life, delighting in their weekend outings and the bedtime stories he never failed to provide, even when joining by video call during business trips. Maya divided her time between the research lab and caring for Lily, finding unexpected support in William, who had proven himself not just a devoted father, but a true partner in their shared challenges. On a crisp autumn afternoon, Maya stood in the observation room of the private lab facility, watching as William underwent the first human trial of their experimental treatment. His condition had deteriorated significantly in recent weeks. Ethan's sabotage had done more damage than they initially realized, making this trial both desperate and hopeful. "His vitals are stable," Dr. Chen reported, monitoring the screens. "Initial cellular response looks promising." Maya nodded, too anxious to speak. This was the culmination of years of research. Her professional life's work and her personal life's greatest hope merged into a single treatment. William lay still on the medical bed, connected to monitors and IV lines. He caught Maya's eye through the observation window and gave a slight nod, his way of saying he trusted her, believed in her work. Hours later, the preliminary results were in. Maya sat beside William's recovery bed, reviewing the data on her tablet. "Well?" he asked, his voice tired but alert. "Don't keep me in suspense, doctor." Maya looked up, a cautious smile forming. "The targeted cells are showing clear response. Better than we projected, actually. The genetic mutation is being recognized and corrected at a rate of nearly 40%. Which means it's working, William." Maya couldn't keep the emotion from her voice. "We need more time to assess longevity and side effects, but the initial indicators are extremely positive." William closed his eyes briefly, absorbing the news. "And Lily, will this work for her?" "We'll need to adjust the delivery mechanism for her size and age," Maya explained. "But yes, theoretically, this could be a long-term solution for both of you." William's hand found hers on the bedside. "You did it. We did it," Maya corrected softly. "Your resources, my research, and the motivation of having two people to save." A comfortable silence fell between them, broken when William spoke again. "I received a message from Rebecca during the procedure." "Oh?" Maya had remained wary of William's former assistant despite her apparent change of heart. "She's found conclusive evidence of Ethan's tampering. Documented proof he's been altering my medication for years, falsifying test results, even bribing medical staff." William's expression hardened. "She's taking it directly to the board chairman tonight. Can we trust her this time?" "I believe so," William nodded. "She included copies of everything, insurance against Ethan silencing her. If she doesn't make it to the chairman, the evidence goes public automatically." Maya considered this. "What does this mean for the company? For Lily's inheritance? If the board accepts the evidence, Ethan will be removed immediately. Criminal charges will follow." William squeezed her hand gently. "And the question of Lily's legitimacy as my heir becomes moot when my brother is exposed as having attempted to murder me." "Justice, finally," Maya murmured. "Though I'd trade all the inheritance and vindication for your health and Lily's future. With this treatment, we might not have to choose," William pointed out. "We could have both, security for Lily and time for us to see her grow up." The us wasn't lost on Maya. Over these months of working together, fighting together, parenting together, something had shifted between them. The old hurts hadn't disappeared, but they'd been contextualized by a greater purpose, their shared love for Lily and grudging respect for each other. "You should rest," Maya said, rising from her chair. "The next 24 hours are critical for assessing treatment response." William held her hand a moment longer. "Stay a while? I've never been good at being alone in hospital rooms." Maya settled back down, smiling slightly. "I remember. You were a terrible patient 5 years ago, too." "I was a terrible many things 5 years ago," William admitted quietly. "We both were," Maya acknowledged. "Young, scared, prideful. And now?" William's eyes held hers. "Now we're older, still scared sometimes. Maybe a little less prideful." William's lips curved. "Speak for yourself." "I'm as arrogant as ever, according to the board." Maya laughed, a genuine sound that lightened the clinical atmosphere of the recovery room. "Lily certainly keeps your ego in check. Did you hear what she told you yesterday? That your bedtime voices aren't as good as mine?" A crushing blow, William agreed with mock seriousness. "I've been practicing my princess voice ever since." Their shared laughter felt healing, bridging the years of separation with something new and tentative. The next morning brought two pieces of news. William's treatment was continuing to show positive results beyond their expectations, and the board had called an emergency session after receiving Rebecca's evidence. By evening, everything had changed. Ethan Blackwood had been removed from the board and the company, pending criminal investigation. William was reinstated as CEO with full board confidence, and most importantly, legal documents had been filed confirming Lily's status as William's legitimate heir, protected from any future challenges. Maya received the news while working in the lab, William's voice over the phone triumphant but exhausted. "It's over," he told her. "Ethan's finished, and Lily's future is secure." "That's wonderful," Maya said sincerely. "How are you feeling?" "The treatment is working better than anyone projected," William finished. "Dr. Chen says my cellular regeneration rates are unprecedented. We need to celebrate, all three of us." "You should be resting," Maya cautioned. "The treatment protocol requires minimal stress for maximum efficacy." "Maya," William's voice softened. "For 5 years, I've been fighting to stay alive while building a company I thought was my legacy. Now I know my true legacy is Lily, and perhaps this treatment that might help others with our condition. I want to celebrate that revelation with the two people who matter most." The simple sincerity of his words touched Maya deeply. "All right, dinner at our place tomorrow? Lily's been asking to show you her science project anyway." "Perfect," William agreed. "And Maya, thank you for everything." The line disconnected, leaving Maya with a warmth that had nothing to do with professional satisfaction and everything to do with personal connection. The celebration dinner the following evening was simple but joyful. Lily, delighted to have both parents present, dominated the conversation with elaborate plans for her upcoming birthday. "And I want a purple cake with science decorations," she was saying as they finished dessert. "And maybe a real microscope?" Daddy said scientists need proper equipment. Maya raised an eyebrow at William, who shrugged unapologetically. "She has my genes. Might as well nurture the scientific curiosity." "Speaking of genes," Maya said carefully, "Lily, remember how we explained that you and Daddy have special blood that sometimes makes you tired?" Lily nodded seriously. "Because of the genetic mutation that affects cellular energy production. I've been reading about it in my science books." Maya and William exchanged amazed glances at their daughter's advanced understanding. "Well," Maya continued, "the medicine Daddy's been taking, the new kind that Mommy helped create, is working very well, and soon, you might be able to try it too." Lily's eyes widened. "Does that mean I won't need so many hospital visits? And Daddy won't get dizzy anymore?" "That's what we hope," William confirmed, reaching out to tuck a stray curl behind Lily's ear. "The doctors are very optimistic." "This calls for extra dessert," Lily declared, causing both parents to laugh. Later, after Lily was tucked in bed, Maya and William sat in the small living room, sharing a bottle of wine in comfortable silence. "She's remarkable," William said finally. "Brilliant, compassionate, resilient, everything I could hope for in a daughter. She gets those qualities from both of us," Maya acknowledged. "Though the stubborn streak is entirely yours." William smiled. "I've been thinking about the future," he said, his tone turning serious. "Now that my health is improving and the company situation is stabilized." "Oh?" Maya kept her voice neutral, though her heart beat faster. "I'd like to be more present in Lily's daily life," William began. "Not just evenings and weekends." "Of course," Maya nodded. "We can adjust the schedule however works best for her." "That's not exactly what I meant." William set down his wine glass, turning to face Maya directly. "I've purchased an apartment in this building, the one on the 3rd floor that just became available." Maya blinked in surprise. "You're moving here? But your house is too far away for daily involvement with Lily," William finished. "And too large for my needs now that I've reassessed my priorities." "Priorities? Family over business," William said simply. "Lily needs both her parents, Maya, and I've missed too much of her life already." Maya studied him, seeing the sincerity in his eyes. "You really mean it? The mighty William Blackwood is downsizing to a modest apartment building to be near his daughter." "Not just his daughter," William said quietly, holding her gaze. "I haven't been fair to you, Maya. 5 years ago, I let pride and suspicion drive away the best thing that had ever happened to me. I lost years with Lily because of it, and I lost any chance we might have had to see where our relationship could have gone." Maya's breath caught. "William, I'm not asking for forgiveness or a second chance," he continued. "You've built a life without me, raised our daughter beautifully. I just want you to know that I recognize my mistakes, and I'm trying to be better for Lily, and because you showed me what really matters." Maya was silent for a long moment, absorbing his words. "We both made mistakes," she finally said. "I should have told you about the pregnancy, should have given you the chance to be her father from the beginning." "Why didn't you?" William asked gently. Maya looked away. "Fear, mostly. Fear you wouldn't want her, fear you would take her from me, fear of watching you die slowly, like my mother did. And now? Now I'm still afraid sometimes," Maya admitted. "But I've seen you with Lily, seen how you fight for her, love her. That matters more than old hurts." William tentatively reached for her hand. "Where does that leave us?" Maya intertwined her fingers with his. "Co-parents, certainly. Friends, I hope. As for anything more, I think we both need time to heal, to trust again. Time is something I have now, thanks to you," William reminded her with a small smile. "And I'm a patient man when the goal is worthwhile." The moment was interrupted by a small voice from the hallway. "Mommy? Daddy? I had a bad dream." They turned to find Lily in her purple pajamas, clutching Mr. Snuggles. William opened his arms, and she climbed onto his lap without hesitation. "What was the dream about, sweetheart?" Maya asked, smoothing Lily's hair. "I dreamed Daddy went away again and couldn't find us," Lily mumbled against William's chest. William hugged her close. "That won't happen, Lily Bear. I promise. I'm not going anywhere." "You'll stay right here?" Lily asked sleepily. William's eyes met Maya's over their daughter's head. "Not in this apartment," he explained gently, "but very close by, just downstairs." "Promise?" Lily insisted. "Promise," William assured her. "In fact, I'll be so close you'll probably get tired of seeing me." "Never," Lily declared with a child's certainty. "I waited a long time for you to find us." The simple statement brought tears to Maya's eyes. William looked equally moved, pressing a kiss to Lily's forehead. "I wish I'd found you sooner," he said softly. "But now that I have, I'm never letting go." 1 year later, Lily's 6th birthday celebration was everything she'd wished for: purple decorations, a science-themed cake, and both parents present and healthy. The party was held in the rooftop garden of their apartment building, which William had renovated as a gift to all the residents. Maya watched from the sidelines as William helped Lily and her friends conduct experiments with baking soda and vinegar volcanoes. His health had continued to improve dramatically under the treatment protocol they'd developed together, which was now entering broader clinical trials for others with their condition. "Penny, for your thoughts," Rebecca said, joining Maya by the refreshment table. The former assistant had become an unlikely ally after her testimony helped bring down Ethan, who was now serving time for attempted murder and corporate fraud. "Just thinking about how much can change in a year," Maya replied, smiling as Lily's delighted laughter rang out across the rooftop. "William certainly has," Rebecca observed. "I've worked for him for 10 years, and I've never seen him this content." Maya had to agree. The cold, driven CEO had evolved into a balanced man who still led his company with vision but now made time for school pickups and science fair projects. He'd moved into the third-floor apartment as planned, becoming a daily presence in Lily's life while respecting Maya's independence. Their own relationship had evolved too, from cautious co-parents to genuine friends and now to something tentatively more. They'd begun dating again 3 months ago, taking things slowly, rebuilding trust between therapy sessions and medical breakthroughs. "Mommy, come see," Lily called, waving excitedly. "Daddy made the biggest volcano ever." Maya joined them at the experiment table, laughing at William's foam-covered hands. "I see you've outdone yourself again. Go big or go home," William shrugged with a grin. "Isn't that right, Professor Lily?" "Exactly," Lily agreed, her lab coat, purple of course, covered in stains. "Scientific progress requires bold experimentation." "She sounds exactly like you," William murmured to Maya, as Lily turned to explain the chemical reaction to her friends. "With your flair for the dramatic," Maya countered, wiping a spot of foam from his cheek. William caught her hand, his expression softening. "Have I told you today how grateful I am for you? For this? Only twice." Maya smiled. "You're getting sentimental in your old age, Blackwood. Near-death experiences and discovering you have a child will do that to a man," William replied, his thumb tracing circles on her palm. "Not to mention falling in love again with the woman who saved your life." Maya's heart skipped. Though they'd been rebuilding their relationship, neither had spoken of love until now. "William," she began. "I know," he interrupted gently. "Too soon, perhaps, but nearly dying taught me not to waste time on uncertainty. I love you, Maya. I think I have since those nights in the library 5 years ago. I was just too stubborn and scared to admit it." Before Maya could respond, Lily bounded over. "Cake time, and presents. Perfect timing as always," William laughed, releasing Maya's hand. "We'll continue this conversation later," he added softly. The cake was cut, presents were opened, and Lily declared it the best birthday in the history of birthdays. As the party wound down and guests departed, she sat between her parents on a garden bench, examining her new microscope with reverent fingers. "This is the greatest present ever," she declared solemnly. "I thought the chemistry set was the greatest present ever," William teased. "They're tied," Lily decided diplomatically. "But you know what the best present is?" "What's that, sweetheart?" Maya asked. "Having both of you here," Lily said simply, "and nobody being sick anymore." Maya and William exchanged glances over their daughter's head, both thinking of the journey that had brought them to this moment. From a cold contract marriage to separation to an unexpected reunion and hard-won health breakthroughs. "That's our favorite present too," William assured her, his arm stretching along the bench behind Lily to gently touch Maya's shoulder. Later that evening, after Lily was asleep surrounded by her new scientific treasures, Maya and William stood on her small balcony, looking out at the city lights. "You never responded to what I said earlier," William observed, his voice calm but with an undercurrent of vulnerability. Maya turned to face him. "You caught me off guard. I seem to have a habit of doing that," William acknowledged. "First with a business proposal, now with a declaration of love. At least I'm consistent in my timing." Maya laughed softly. "Your timing has actually improved considerably." She stepped closer, taking his hands. "And so have you. We both have." William searched her face. "Maya, I love you too," she said simply. "I think I always have, even when I was angry and hurt, even when I thought I'd never see you again." The relief and joy that crossed William's face made him look younger, unburdened. He drew her into his arms, his embrace both gentle and fierce. "I don't want to waste any more time," he murmured against her hair. "Life is too precious, too uncertain." "What are you suggesting?" Maya asked, leaning back to see his face. "Not another contract," William smiled. "Something real this time, something permanent." His expression grew serious. "I want us to be a family, Maya, not just for Lily's sake, but for ours too." "Are you proposing?" Maya asked, eyes widening. "Inelegantly, perhaps," William admitted. I didn't plan to do this tonight. But Maya stopped him with a kiss, their first since that night in the library 5 years ago, but carrying all the emotion and connection that had grown between them since. Yes, she said when they finally parted, both breathless. But on one condition. William raised an eyebrow. I'm listening. No courthouse wedding this time, Maya said firmly. Lily wants to be a flower girl, and I want a real ceremony. Something worth remembering. William laughed, joy radiating from him. Whatever you want. Though I remember our courthouse wedding quite clearly. It was the beginning of everything important in my life, even if I didn't know it then. Maya smiled, resting her head against his chest. Who would have thought a contract marriage would lead to this? Sometimes fate works in mysterious ways. Not fate, William corrected gently, tilting her face up to his. Choice. We chose each other, Maya. Through mistakes and misunderstandings, through illness and separation. We kept choosing to find our way back. As his lips met hers again, Maya knew he was right. Their journey hadn't been fated or contracted. It had been built decision by decision, challenge by challenge, into something stronger and more genuine than either could have imagined when they first signed those papers 6 years ago. In Lily's room, the little girl wasn't quite as asleep as her parents believed. She peeked through her barely open door, watching her parents embrace on the balcony. A satisfied smile spread across her face before she crept back to bed, clutching Mr. Snuggles close. See? She whispered to the teddy bear. I told you my birthday wish would come true. Now we're going to be a real family. And in her room, in her father's company headquarters, a framed photo sat on Lily's desk, a picture of her parents' courthouse wedding day, rescued from William's archived files. Beside it stood a newer photo of the three of them from Lily's science fair, all smiles and purple ribbons. The contract that had brought them together was long expired, but what had grown in its place, love, trust, family, was stronger than any legal document. And the inheritance that truly mattered wasn't measured in company shares or dollar amounts, but in second chances, hard-won wisdom, and the miracle of finding home in each other's hearts. Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this story of love, betrayal, and second chances, be sure to subscribe for more tales of fate's mysterious workings in matters of the heart. Until next time, remember that second chances are often life's most precious inheritance.